Hello everyone, this is Heidi. Today we will cover a basic photomontage technique. For that we will use a background image and our render, and we will replace this render image with the corner building, and we will apply some settings on Photoshop to create photorealistic images. So let's start with the render image. This is the image from V-Ray in RGB format. So this is the alpha format image. We will select this and copy it into render 1. Basically, I drag the layer and then I convert the background layer into layer 0 and layer 1. We will use this alpha image to select the black color. We will select color range, select the black color, and then say OK. So now we selected the background. When we turn off this layer, you see we selected this gradient colored background, and when you click on layer 0 and delete it, it will delete the whole background image. Then with the magic wand, I will select the white part and delete that part as well. But still there might be some lines around here, so with the eraser I would like to be sure that there is no line in the connection. And then with the marquee tool, basically I will select my building and right click layer via copy, and I created a copy of this building. I will drag it into the background image and we have this building here. Now the only thing that we need to do with the free transform of this image, we will adjust the perspectival settings and match it with the background image. So for that I will enlarge the canvas inches like 35, let's say 40, center image. Okay, and I will draw the vanishing points again in the background image. Vanishing point left and vanishing point right. Okay, so mainly they intersect somewhere here, and this is the horizon line passing through two vanishing points. Okay, so right now we have the horizon line and the vanishing point layers. I will select my building image, and with Ctrl T I can free transform and arrange the settings of my building. And for that, please pay attention to keep the proportions of your building. If it gets too much distorted, then it will look like problematic. So I place my building here. It's a bit big. I will scale it. When you press down Shift key while scaling, it will keep the proportions same. Okay. Then select it and Ctrl T again. Right click. You see it gives not only free transform, but it gives different options: scale, rotate, skew, distort, perspective, and wrap. We will select perspective, and by dragging these vertices, we will try to arrange perspectival setting of the building. Please pay attention, all the straight lines are parallel to each other and perpendicular to the horizon line. Yeah. This might take a few more minutes. If it doesn't fit exactly with the perspective setting, you can select distort or wrap, and you can play a little bit more. I'm gonna see all the lines on the building. So it would take time, but at the end just be sure that the lines are parallel to each other and they are vanishing at the same point. Okay, right after you arrange your building, you can just delete the lines and keep only the yes, keep only the building image and the background image, and then here I adjusted my building with exactly the same size and the same vanishing points. I will continue from this point. The second step will be clearing the background image, because there are some images that are just doesn't look clear. So I will select them like this man walking on the street, background, and when it's background and when you want to delete a scene, a piece from that background, it will ask you content aware deleting. So mainly it will just match the background with the deleted part. So it's like a magic. I would like to delete this guy, background, delete, content aware, yes. It deleted. I don't want to have this one either. So if it doesn't work at the first stage, you can reapply and reapply it to get rid of all the unnecessary images. Okay, what else? I don't want to see this street light either, so it will be covered by the mostly the building layer, but still I'd like to get rid of it. Okay, and this corner of building. Okay. Okay, so for now it looks like a more clear picture. I will put my building layer back to there. Okay, it looks clear on the corner and the side. Alright. But also I would like to copy some of the images from here and show it on top of my layer, like the traffic light, because since there is one, there should be another one, and the car. So from the background, I will select these images and I will cut them and copy them as a new layer. This is the car, and the fire distinguisher. When you press shift while selecting your objects, it will just select all of them at the same layer at the same time, so you don't need to multiply the same action over and over again. So if you are using a different background, just pay attention to some of these objects that would just increase the quality of your renders. Okay, I will get rid of this garbage thing later. Okay, from the background, right click, layer via copy, and I will select background and get rid of this garbage thing. Alright. With this clone stamp, I would like to fix this mess. For that, I will press Alt and select a pattern from here, and it will apply that pattern on the surface that you want. Okay, the other part will stay under the building layer. Just here on top of it. Okay. So let's place the building one last time. And be precise about it. Okay, even though I see the rest of the building on the background, it looks like a building behind this main building, so I don't wanna deal with it right now. I will just keep it as it is. And then the second step will be it's a big image and I would like to focus on my main building, so I will use lens blur to make these further parts to give a sense of depth. So for that I need to copy a duplicate the background layer, right click, duplicate layer, okay, and I will create a new layer. Control Alt Shift N creates a new layer automatically. I will color it white behind that, and I will mask the background image. This is the mask icon. I will select the layer of the mask and the black color and the gradient tool. Right click, gradient tool. From the gradient tool I will select black to transparent symmetrical gradient, and I will just apply it to my image. As you can see. Then select the layer of the image, go filter, blur, lens blur. It will give a preview. Since it's a big image, it will take a time. For the source, select the layer mask, and already with these settings it's getting blurred through the edges. But as you can see, there is a problem. Oh, even though this traffic light is close to us, it's getting blurred as well. So I would like to remove it, cancel from this blurred images. So I will select the first. I will go to the background and I will select this traffic light and this part of the image. I will select the front and this human figure, this car, traffic light, okay. I will select the background and I will delete. I will just delete the white parts. Okay, Control D, deselect. Again, select the image, go to filter, blur, lens blur, images there, select the layer mask as a source and adjust the settings. Okay. And then in order to see the blurred image, I will just right click on the mask and I will disable it. And I will delete this layer, I don't need it anymore. Okay, so now as you can see, the background has a more blurred sense, so it gives a sense of depth and focus on the corner. And then the second step will be replacing the sky, since our format asks a longitudinal papered size in portrait. I will go to image canvas size and I will make it with 17 to 22 and my image will be on the bottom. Okay, so now I will clear the background and I will replace it with a gradient of blue. For that I will use magic wand tool, the background, select the blue parts. Right. This structure looks like problematic, so I will just clear it all. So when you delete it, you will get rid of the background blue, and I will clean the rest of it. Then for the background image, I will have another layer. the bottom, and then I will select the gradient tool. I want to have a nice blue to white. Okay. Right. Okay. I will just keep background as this one right now. And as you can see, the edges of the background image is getting gray and darker. So in order to get rid of from that effect, I will duplicate the background image, the layer, copy to, okay. Then I will select it. I will put it into the back of the layer. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. So it will just look at the center. It's getting more blurred. And on the top of the layer, I will just delete these corners. So eraser, a little bit bigger. I will decrease the opacity. You can see right now. It's just blending with the sky's white color. Okay. So I will just delete a little bit more background, especially the further part. Okay. And from the main background image, I will just decrease the opacity, increase the size a little bit more, and then okay. So just want to give some whiteness to the further part. It will just help us to focus on the main building. And the background will blend with the sky. Alright, this looks pretty well. This is our building and this is the other images. So the next step will be focusing on the building to give the sense that this building belongs to here with shade and shadow conditions, with some reflections on the windows. Okay, for that I will turn off the layer. As you can see, there is this shadow casting on the building, and this side is shaded a little bit more. So we will give those effects. First of all, I will just select very roughly the contours of this shadow. Command Shift Alt N, a new layer on top of a building. I will select black color and a brush and opacity. I will play with opacity, and this is a good So I will just get this part a little bit more darker. As you can see right now, it looks a bit weird. So we will go filter, blur, Gaussian blur. We completely diffuse it with the background. Okay. And the next step will be selecting this facade and applying a shade, a little bit of transparent gray color. Pay attention to the shade and shadow conditions. Paint bucket, Ctrl Shift and a new layer and completely black. And I will play with the opacity of that layer. Okay. You can see this part is a little bit more light. Probably there glass is reflecting the light on this part more. So a new layer, and I would like to apply here some yellowish light, a bit warmer. Okay, with the same brush. So, then the same filter, blur, Gaussian. I will diffuse it. Okay, and I will also play with the transparency as well. Okay. And the next step will be reflections on these windows. So for that I will use an image, open with Photoshop, which has buildings, the background, copy it on top of our image. And first I will just cast the reflection on this window. So I will select these windows on this facade, because since these two facades are perpendicular to each other, there will be they will have different reflections. If you press Alt, you can delete the unwanted part. Okay, I will select it. I will paint it with black as one layer, and then I will select the layer, the image, the windows on this side of the facade. This layer. By pressing on the Shift key, you can select multiple areas. put this part here as well. Okay, I will put them into a different layer. So now I have this layer and this layer, and I have this image, which is pretty big since it's a reflection of the buildings. Probably they are across the street, so they will be smaller. So on this part, let's put this building on this part. Select by pressing on Ctrl key and the layer, it will select it, and from I will select the image layer and layer via copy, and then I will move layer to this part. It will have the reflection of a different building, so I will select other parts and the building, right click layer via copy. Okay, I don't need this image anymore. I can delete it. I don't need this black. I can delete it. I don't need this black either. I can delete it. So as you can see now, we see the buildings here. I will play with the opacity and give them a very light shape. Okay. This looks a bit dark, so I will select the layer, go image adjustment, brightness and contrast. Just increase the brightness of that building, contrast, so it will look better. Yeah. Okay. So far we have all these images, building, reflection, and the shadow, and then the shade, and the light, and the other objects on top of our building layer. So far it looks good. It's blended into its context. We have the shade and shadow conditions as well. If you would like to add some more adjustments on the building, you are free to do that. Now I would like to add some cutout human figures on the street to show that. I will use this website. They have some libraries like the human library, plants, background images from SketchUp, and again plants. So you can just click on image and download it. I've already selected some of those images, so I will use these ones. Okay, so for that I will just drag them into my building. Let's get it crowded. I will get rid of these. Okay, there is a woman shopping, two guys coming from shopping somewhere here, and a lady and her baby. Okay. So since we already have some human figures on the background, by paying attention to the perspective, we will place them. Here. Okay, it looks a little bit big. Scale it as well. Right here. Okay. So you can see they don't have any shadow. So let's create a new layer and select the brush tool, a smaller size, and add shadow. Light is okay. Looking a little bit dark. Okay. Okay. Then since these ladies are moving, I will add this one blur, motion blur. See, it looks like she's just started moving. This direction. Okay. And I will decrease the transparency. For this one as well, I will just select eraser tool and give some transparency to these images. Okay. So they would blend to the picture easily. So if you want to add trees or a different type of sky, you are free to do. So for now, this is all the basic settings I would like to show to you. And one more thing, for the final touch, since it will be a presentation board, I will copy my grasshopper script here and the diagrams. I will use this grasshopper image and the diagrams. I prepared it earlier on a white background. I will copy it here, scale it, and adjust it to the background. And we select the layer and play with multiply, so it will just blend into the background. So we have the diagram here how we created on Grasshopper and the parametric construction of the building, and then the photorealistic image of the building. There is one key. I use an earlier example. This is a diagram for a different building, but you are supposed to use your own diagrams to express the parametric construction of your own building. And at the end, to get rid of this complexity of the layers, I will just uh, select like the human figures and make them a group. So you can create a folder and drag them into your group and say human figures. So you can apply this thing for all of the layers to organize them. You can name the layer as well, like the diagram. That's it. So then I will just save it as a JPEG image. It will save it as a copy, render, post-processing, save. Maximum quality. Okay. And also save the render as a Photoshop file. And that's it for today. I know it's a bit long process, but there are many more different settings that you need to discover on Photoshop. So please leave some time just for this tutorial and then apply all the settings on your model.